So I guess my question is, we were asking, what is this? And the answer was, to my understanding, it's genetic. There's a gene, we might not know what it is yet, but there's a gene that we can breed for to create highly sensitive animals and tests and all of this. But also, it seems like the answer to Addison was it's experience-based and it's what you identify with. So I guess my question is, how do you rectify the two? Because they seem like different metrics. Is it just experience up to this point because we don't have the science to actually find that gene yet? Or how does that work? Yeah. I feel like I'm playing the skeptic tonight, but I'm
okay.
Super curious.
It is conflicting what I said. So yeah, absolutely. And that's because we're not going to all go into a research study and have tests done on us. So somebody can definitely do that. They can participate in a study. They do lots of studies, over the phone, 900 random groups, 400. There's been so many different studies done. But yes, it is a genetic inherited trait, and they have discovered this from animals. That is the information that we know it from. And so based off of that information, we have seen human behavior that resembled that of the sensitive animals within the studies, showing the same parts of the brain, same chemicals. And so that's how we've identified it. Does that answer your question?
So you're using similar traits identified across different animal groups, including humans, to pinpoint, hey, these are some markers genetically or in the DNA that might bring these about, and here they are mirrored in humans. We don't have the gene yet, but we're seeing connections here. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, and I want to just acknowledge that this is sort of part and parcel of studying behavior and the social sciences, because we do a lot of this. There is not a blood test that can declare you to be bipolar, for instance, or to have schizophrenia. There's a lot of guesswork that goes into those things. And, when we use something like the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistics Manual, what we're doing is using statistics to say people who do this, this, and this often do that. And you tend to do this, this, and that. So we're going to maybe predict that you fit into this category of people. And then in certain circumstances, we can then confirm, using genetics or fMRI or any of these other things, our diagnosis. But in the soft sciences, that's often not a possibility. And so when I said that this is sort of a new science that we're grappling with, it's not that those facts don't exist. It's that we're still, kind of struggling to find them and really wrap our hands around them. I might be wandering into like a totally unnecessary can of worms here, but I might argue that you could say the same thing about gender. That when somebody self-identifies as trans or as non-binary, I am of the belief that with sufficiently sophisticated measuring tools, we would be able to look at their genetic code, look at their hormone receptors and all of these things, and be able to scientifically validate that. We're not able to do that or do that well right now. And so when somebody comes to me and says, I don't feel like the gender I was assigned at birth, I'm having that conversation with them and taking them at their word. Courtney, is that at all sort of the way you frame this argument?
Yes, that is correct. But also, it is stated it is not a disorder. It is a genetic variation that creates a certain personality trait and biological variation in the body. So it's not something that would be in a DSM, but it is very much like what you're saying, the way that you described it, how it is very hard to measure, depth of perception and depth of processing. And obviously we can tell if someone's overstimulated, but emotional reactivity, we have lots of information on that. It's really the depth of processing that kind of tricks people, even though there has been studies done that has shown that highly sensitive people, when giving really difficult perceptive tasks, have a really easy time. Non-HSP individuals had a really difficult time. And it is the level of processing, but still, that's hard to measure. You know, there's so many variations that can exist too.
Well, and I guess I just want to be very careful, having mixed my metaphors a little bit, to note that gender is also not a disorder, regardless of whether you are cis or trans or beyond that.
All genders are disorder. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, all genders are disordered. I might be able to work with that one.